Sometimes in order to get our needs met, the things that we feel and the things that we process into our heads, depends a great deal on the way that we communicate with our neighbor. We can either communicate assertively, aggressively, passively, or passive-aggressively. Good case scenario. Let's say that somebody says something to me that hurt my feelings a great deal. I have a choice of how I communicate with that. They have said something, it has made me feel hurt inside, and I need to process and deal with that hurt feeling. I could do it aggressively. I could go to them and turn my hurt feelings into expression of anger and yell at them and try to hurt them like they hurt me. And the only thing that happens there is that I have not ever dealt with the hurt feelings. I've just transferred and created an angry feeling. And then by hurting somebody else and by getting in someone else's face and by acting aggressively, there might be feelings of guilt later, of remorse later. And also it could cause a friction between me and the person that I'm sharing this world with. I could deal with it passively, have them say something to me and I do nothing about it. And I hold it inside, and I don't deal with any of the feelings that I have that are hurt. And so that what that hurt feeling does is it just stays in there, and it becomes a little bit toxic and a little bit, it kind of grows and festers and just makes me feel terrible. Again, not resolving anything. I could deal with it passive-aggressively. I could tell them that it was fine, no bother, and then later down the road, sometimes months later, weeks later, I could give a little snide comment that hurts them as well, therefore justifying the feeling that they hurt me later. But the problem is that I've never still not dealt with the hurt feeling that they caused in the first place. I am now transferring it still into an anger, but I'm just holding it like a time bomb, catching somebody off guard. Or I could deal with it aggressively or assertively. By dealing with something assertively, I could go to the person and I could say, I feel hurt. You said something and I feel hurt. And respect that person enough to where you are giving them the benefit of the doubt that they didn't even mean it. And you're talking about just the action, not the person, but just the action. And you work to resolve that issue. Some of the best ways to have a conversation assertively begins with the phrase, I feel. You're not telling them that they did anything. You're just saying, I feel. There was something that happened. You said something, but it turned into a feeling here. And I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but it felt hurt for me. And you can do this and still love and respect that person. And ideally, what would happen is that the two of you would have a conversation about it, talk about it, and be able to walk away as loving neighbors, understanding more, and maybe understanding a little bit more about each other. The way that we deal with what's inside of us is often an echo. It echoes out of how we treat other people. When we feel toxic inside, when we have feelings inside that we haven't dealt with, oftentimes it can ripple out into our neighbor and we can be a pessimistic person or a hurtful person or an aggressive person or a person that's constantly on guard because they are protecting what's inside of them. But if we are assertive with people, if we actually just share our emotions and feelings with people on a regular basis, we can communicate a little bit more and people know a little bit more about us. And we know a little bit more about them. We get along with our neighbor, and we love our neighbor. Remember, love God, love your neighbor, and love yourself.